All right, so this is question 10 of the practice test. It looks like we have three different classes, right? We have the driver class, we have this abstract class, and then we have this last class here that seems to be inheriting from the abstract class, right? So let's go ahead and look at this abstract class first, right? So what is this keyword doing again? It's just saying that I cannot make any objects of type my abstract, right? It's just not going to let me. If I try to, it's going to throw me an error if I attempt to compile, right? So what else is interesting or I guess going on with this class? Well, the actual word abstract cannot be found within the class, right? Sure it's right here, but like it doesn't show up again, right? And what's especially important is that it didn't show up right here, right? It didn't say public abstract void print into I. It just said, public void print into I, right? So what that means is that my class is not forced to implement this method itself. If it wants to, go for it, right? But it doesn't have to. It's not forced to, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and start from main and look at the first line. It's saying that I have a reference called obj. What is it referencing to? Or I guess what is it a reference of? It's a reference of my abstract, right? That's the type, and it's being assigned to an object of my class, right? So let's go ahead and sort of like denote that. So we have obj. It's a type my abstract, right? And it's being assigned to a my class object, right? This is what's happening. And it wants us to, well, before we do anything, we should probably go through the constructor, right? So this is an object of type my class, so I should be going to my class as a constructor first, right? So here I am in public my class, so basically the constructor for this class, and here it's implied, but there is actually a line above this, right? So if you don't specify it yourself, Java's going to do it for you, right? So what you always have to do is call a constructor from the parent class, right? If you're inheriting from a class and you're in the subclass and you just instantiated um, a subclass object, right? Once you're in the constructor, the first line is always a super call, right? A super to I guess a call to the parent constructor, right? So let's go to the parent constructor. Oh, wait, there isn't one, which means that Java is just going to provide you with the default constructor, right? So it's just going to probably initialize I here to 0, and then it's going to return back to us. Now it's saying that I is equal to 4, right? Okay, that's fine, because this is public right here, so that's totally okay that I'm saying that I is equal to 4, right? Because I do have access to this I from the my class, right? So I'm going to say I is equal to 4, right? And then it looks like my constructor is done, right? Let's go ahead to obj.print5, right? So, okay, what's going on with that? I'm saying obj.print5, and I'm looking to see if my class has overrid this method, right? So I look at my class and I look for print, and then that takes in an integer, right? So I got void print, and then it takes in nothing, right? So I'm not going to go to this one. This one doesn't even match the parameters, right? It has no params. This is an integer. They don't match, right? Meaning that this method did not overload this method right here. So I'm actually going to choose this method, right? Because it matches the name, it matches the parameter, and it has not been overridden by the subclass. Okay. So now we're here. I'm saying this dot I is equal to 6, right? So I'm saying that the I that's associated with this object is equal to 6. Let's go do that, right? Okay, but now I'm saying system.out println I. Now, which I am I talking about? If I were talking about this I, or in other words, this I I would have said inside of this print, I would have said this dot I, right? But I didn't say that. So that implies that I'm actually talking about the I that I sent in, right? This variable name is called I. That was the whole point of having this dot, right? So you could differentiate between this I and the I that you passed in. Otherwise, that would be a nightmare to trace, right? So I only said I. I did not say this dot I. So I'm referring to this. So what did I pass in to this method? I passed in a 5, right? So I'm actually going to print out to the screen 5, right? And then of course main is done. So I can go ahead and check the answer. And yes, 5 is the answer you would want to pick. I hope this helped.